Okay, so tell me who you are, what you do, your company.
I'm Jim Moritz. I own Chicago Drum. Chicago Drum was officially formed in 2011. I've been around drums all my life. My dad and great uncles worked for many years for the Slingerland Drum Company, as well as I have. Well, I had a friend of mine who was also a former Slingerland employee. It's like, can you make a snare drum? And we did. We made a snare drum, and it blew me away when I first heard it. It sounded fantastic. Rim shots, it just blew me out of the room. The biggest rim shot that was the old school sound to it that you really haven't heard in modern drums. And it kind of brought us back to the old days. There is a feel to our drums. There's a rebound in that stick. It's just an old vintage feel. We have that sound, we have the feel. A little R&D goes into it, but we kind of took the basics that we knew from the plant and kind of went from there. The flagship line is based on the tradition of that Slingerland build. We only are offering two shell types, either a maple poplar or a mahogany poplar shell. That's all you get from us. That's all that was available back in the day. That was one of the most recorded type of woods there was. It worked back then. It can still work now. It fits into any music genre that you can throw at it. Blues, rock, jazz, it just fits. Our drums are what you want your music to be. We're not a high production company. Everything is handmade. A lot of work goes in with these things. They all pass through the hands.
Handmade by you.
Yeah. Handmade by me with these, yeah. I can show you scars, okay? I'm always a hands-on guy. I have always been a hands-on guy. Just have a good work ethic that was taught to me by my dad. So yeah, it's just the way I do things. I like to touch things. They got to feel right before they leave the shop. That's kind of one of my tests for some of the areas on the drums. They just have to feel right before they leave. The most important part of the snare drum would be the snare bed, but the most important part of the drum, I believe, would be the bearing edges. And that's where we do a lot of sanding. There's that feel test that I'm talking about. But the snare bed design also has a big impact on how the snare is sensitivity-wise. The reinforcement rings, yeah, we have our own steamer here, steam generator, steam box. So we have a process that we do that, and we have many forms. So we form all the rings. It's not like the way Slingerland did it. We actually steam bent it. Slingerland had a form of steam bending, but it really wasn't steam bending as I do it. It's a little slightly different.
Tell me about the museum.
Museum.
What's in there? First of all, what's in there? We'll start with that.
What's in there? Well, there's a lot of memorabilia in there. Banners, old ads in frames, old sets, and that's pretty much it. I mean, it's just a fun kind of room to go into for a drum geek, I guess. The set in question is a Slingerland Magnum kit. Yeah, it's a vintage 84, 85, I think it is. And back in the day, I was a machinist for 30 years, and I had pretty free reign at the shop at the time. So I made a modification for Slingerland's set-o-matic holder. And the modification was a little wing screw on it and a shaft that moved, so you could basically spin the drum around 360 degrees. If you broke a top head, you could basically flip the drum around and play on the bottom head if you needed to. Slingerland was phasing it out at the time with the Magnum series coming in, but they did have an Artist series set that they were still using it on. So they told me that if that was the original design, it would have been a perfect design right off the bat. But they liked the idea. They asked me what I would want for it, and I was enamored with this ad for a Magnum kit in the silver silk, but I didn't like the silver silk. I liked the drums. So I said that's it, and yeah, that's what I got for a compensation for that modification for Slingerland. I'd love to make instruments that would go on forever, like the old vintage drums. I hope mine will be around for another 60 years.